Gachiakuta. I think that's how you pronounce it. Forgive me if I'm wrong again. Please let me know in the comments. But episode 2 is now out. So let's talk about it.
I'm serious about this. I'm giving it all I've got.
So this new anime, episode 1 was fantastic. So I've been excited for episode 2 and it is now out for you guys to go and check out. And I was very, very excited to go back to this world again and relive everything that we had just learned in episode 1. But episode 2, unbelievable. Unbelievable. I can already see after 2 episodes, man, I freaking love this. I am in love with this anime. It is so good already. So in this episode, we get introduced to a new character. We start to get some more lore and some understanding of what this trash world that they're in right now, what it is. And it's hinted in here. So we now know that there's a sphere, which is where he came from and where he fell down. And it floats above. So what I believe, this is how my theory is right now. Now, I haven't read it, so I don't know. I feel like they're on Earth right now. They're on the ground on Earth. There's obviously a sphere that was created, and this is where the higher up people live in that, and they dump their trash down. That's what it's insinuated in this episode. And with that, over time, the air became very toxic. And you see that in an episode where he struggles to breathe. You know, he needs a gas mask to breathe because he starts coughing up blood because it's just poison. And with this, with all the accumulation of the trash, these monsters have now spawned, which is the thing that we see at the end of last week's episode and in this episode. So that is a bit of like the things explained there. But what I truly liked about this episode a lot is how it goes back to what his father told him. And, we remember that in the first episode where he talks about, at the start, it talks about like these things, people just throw them away like they're trash, like they're nothing. But he had been, taught and grown to know that these things can have souls. These objects are not just throwaway things. And we see that with this character where he's building. That's how he's grown. This episode goes into that because we have a moment where he's with Rigeto there and he's talking about how, like, these things have souls. Everything, like, treat things with respect and a soul will form in it. And this is where he gets the idea of like, okay, so my gloves will have a soul eventually if I treat them right. This is why he treats everything like it's not trash. And I love that concept. Now, with that, it ties into something very, very big, which is the power system that is going to be coming. And that is something that is very much played in this episode and hinted towards, that these cleaners are people who have the same mindset of not everything is trash, and they're able to channel energy into objects. So I thought that was really, really good, the throwback to that, and it just adds layers to this character. So in this episode also, we get action. This is an action-packed episode. We have him fighting those beasts, and, he's getting pummeled at the start. And then he's like, wait a second. He starts to remember, I can't die here. I can't. I've got to go up there, and I've got to get my revenge. I've got to bring everyone down, and I'm not dying here today. So he starts fighting him, and it's freaking awesome. Meanwhile, there's this other person that is watching this whole thing unfold with an umbrella. He's sitting there, and he's like, okay, this is interesting. And you see these little red lightning sparks coming off him. So it's already hinting to there's something deep within him. And then what happens is this umbrella guy, he ends up near him, and the umbrella guy's like, oh, puts a gas mask on him, and he's like, be quiet, don't talk about it. But obviously, he's like, who the hell are you? What's going on here? Like, tell me everything and that. And he's very, very loud. So the guy loses it. But then we get to see him use his power. So this umbrella goes all yellow, transforms, and bro, oh my word, this man was freaking awesome. He was just wiping these trash monsters out left, right, and center. The way his umbrella transformed was freaking awesome. It's just so unique. It felt unique. It felt something different, and I loved it. And it was animated beautifully, and then the score was phenomenal. It was like this, almost like this rock score, but it just fits for this world. It does fit, and it was incredible. So then we have him tie him up, right? He ties him up because he passes out, drags him along, and leaves him. And this is where we get to understand that this is where that sphere thing comes into it, because they've never seen a person like this alive. There's normally just bodies in that. But these people have been living down here. They're not from the sphere up top, which is something that I was like, okay, this is interesting now. Now the world is starting to make more sense. You have people down here and then people up here, and they throw all their trash on top of these people. So these people like feeding him. They've tied him up, and they're like feeding him trash food and stuff like that. And he has to eat it and stuff. And you're thinking, oh, that's gross. Like, this is disgusting. But what they don't realize is this is a man who has been taught to, you know, not take anything for granted and not to just think everything is trash. And when he's eating it, the guy's shoving the food down. He bites the guy's fingers off and he tells him, basically, this ain't trash. This is still edible. And this is where he starts to channel his power and awaken it. And meanwhile, the other guy obviously left him here to test this because he wanted to see the true capabilities of this guy and whether or not this was true or it was just a false flag. So these people are like, oh, what's going on? So then he jumps out of the truck in a fit of rage, power on, and the trash comes up. We have a chain that ignites, and it's really, really awesome. So he's able to transform not one, but two objects at the same time. And they're like, what's going on? And the guy is pumped. He's like, what? Two objects? This is awesome. But the fight was great. Like, he ends it really, really quick. And then the guy comes down. He's like, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know. I just needed to make sure that you had these powers, that this wasn't just, you know, just something that wasn't. But it was freaking awesome. So now we have him. He's like, come join the cleaners. And he's like, nah, I don't really want to. Because he wants to go up. But it's so freaking awesome already, man. I am so in here. Like, the amount of depth that we're already getting with the world itself. Like, the world is a character. And, like, that is really good writing. If you're able to create a world where I feel like this is actually a character itself, it's just going to add so much more layers and depth to the storytelling. Now that we have the knowledge of a sphere that is floating around and there's some way to get up there, because in this episode it's hinted, it's like, we can't get up there yet. It's not possible now. And then he's like, wait a second. So it is possible to get up there, but just not right now. So there is a way to get up there. And I think having this trash world where everyone's down here is like almost like Earth, and the hatred for the sphere is setting up something. Because up in the sphere, remember, we have the two societies as well. And I think that was fantastic. But it's diving into this character because now we know the power comes from people being able to channel into these inanimate objects, which is something that is played to the story so far and the character, where his father told him about not taking these things for granted and they all have souls. So it's tying into that powers. And also we know that sphere people don't really have this power. They don't know how to tap into it. So it's something that's very rare, but he obviously, something about his stepfather is, there's something about him that he knew something about this. Like, I think there's a tie-in between him and these people. I could be completely wrong, but that just the philosophy that he has and the ideology revolving around the trash and the concept of it has souls ties into power system. It makes me to believe that he knows something about it. He has some sort of form of knowledge for it. But I really liked it. The animation was great. Everything about it was fantastic. Loved episode 2. I need episode 3 right now. Just give it to me. Let me know what you guys thought. Did you guys enjoy it? Did you not? Smash it down in the comment section below. Smash that like button. Click subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video. Until then, stay safe and peace out.